Another year, another Thanksgiving, another Black Friday, another holiday humbug season, another neck pillow. Well, it is Thanksgiving and I'm getting kind of hungry, so let's eat.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
So right about now, the folks who get caught up in the Black Friday brouhaha rubbish, whatever you want to call it, are tearing up Walmart while I'm enjoying the fruits of their, whatever you want to call it, with throwing this stuff in the freezers or something like that. That's one of the things that I've never agreed with when it comes to Thanksgiving, is just how easily this day off from work or this holiday or whatever can stop feeling like a holiday or a day off. Better set the alarm, you gotta get up and be at so-and-so's house to eat, blah 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 blah. You know how it goes. Well, I want none of that. Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, whatever. I want to just take it easy on this day off. Let's make some of this stuff. Great value, turkey and dressing bake. Frozen solid. What's really sad is that there were folks that had like charity Thanksgiving dinners or whatnot for people that had nowhere to go on Thanksgiving. I could have gone to one of those, but instead I'm messing around with this stuff. It's basically my dad has a similar story. I mean, there was one time he observed Thanksgiving with like a Swanson turkey TV dinner or something. How are you supposed to make this thing? Oven instructions? Nah, microwave. Get people to cringe even more. Alright, cut a thing to vent and 15 minutes or so. This microwave's a little wussy. It's got a couple of years on it, so we're probably going to have to go 15 minutes, if not longer. As for yeah, I gotta loosen up the contents somehow. Now, of course, we have Idaho Spuds, mashed potatoes. Ooh, the instant kind. Why don't you mash potatoes for real? Again, this is supposed to be a day off. Why make it harder than it has to be? Stovetop stuffing, too. Oh, man, the comment section's gonna go nuts if the right people see this video. Whatever. To remind everybody, the Geek House does have a gas oven, but I use it so infrequently that burning off whatever's been building up inside would probably set off the smoke detector. I gotta set the alarm, I gotta get up at the crack of dawn on my day off, I gotta make sure the turkey's been thawing for enough days to actually cook right, I gotta basically use my entire day off too. I'm gonna get my ass kicked for this one, I swear. I don't know. Mix with butter and margarine. Mix with butter and margarine. What? I actually gotta do stuff? Let's see how that thing comes out. Oh man, what's it gonna take for this stuff to cool down? I suppose these are probably better if I cook them in the oven. No, darn it, get some turkey in there somewhere. Good stuff. Almost makes the mashed potatoes and stuffing a little redundant here. But I only have one microwave, so one thing at a time here. Ha-ha! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! The stuffing has been rendered redundant by this stuff, because apparently stuffing is only stuffing if it's actually stuffing something, like a turkey. Otherwise it's dressing. Whatever. Mashed potatoes, yeah! The one thing not rendered redundant by the turkey and dressing. Ladies and gentlemen, Thanksgiving carb crash in 3, 2, 1. Epic fail. And just like that, it's now Saturday night. How long was all of this? 5 minutes? We gotta find some way to continue things. So, my disdain for food holidays continues to grow because I had this extra time off of work because of Thanksgiving. But because of all of this carb-loaded food, especially the redundant stuff like the stuffing dash dressing and the mashed potatoes, basically I've been sleeping most of the time because it's basically carb crash after carb crash after carb crash. So I think next year I'll just stick to just that if I don't go to a real Thanksgiving dinner event. So let's find some stuff to do because 5 minutes is just too short for one of these. Let's head over to the project area now that I'm actually staying up for more than a few hours at a time. Alright, let's check out some of these little cheapo things from Amazon, than the latest bunch that came in. So we have some 45-degree mini USB adapters. I'm probably going to use one of these for the microphone, so that way I don't have the cable jetting down anymore. It can turn off to the side and do its thing. We also have these Link high-quality digital adapters. Basically goes from mini USB to micro USB. Should come in handy for like the PlayStation 3 controller and stuff like that. Just leave one of these plugged in all the time or something and charge that way. Also the Wii U Pro controller. There's a lot of mini USB stuff out there, and yet everything and its mother's uncle nowadays, as far as charging cables goes, is micro USB. So these cute little things, assuming they can carry the current, should be good for converting over the remaining mini USB devices in order to use micros. And then, of course, I might even use one on the microphone, too, for that sort of thing. And then, of course, we have these. Actually, I think the microphone is... No, that is mini USB. We'll figure it out. And then you have these things. These are basically mini to 2 little screw terminals for speaker wires. It's a set of 4. I'm going to go with these things for... I'm going to go with a set of these things for the Klipsch Pro Media 4.1 speakers to put them back into service. Basically just use the little screw terminals to hook up real speaker wire to them, because unfortunately they were made for minis. So there's 4 little adapters to get those speakers back into service. Got some watch buckles here because I keep wearing watches like this, and had one where, well, this one the band broke, but the other one the buckle came off. So why spend $20 on a watch? We can spend a couple of dollars on a bunch of extra buckles. Keep them going until something breaks for real. And then we have these things. So I like to edit together these videos on the crappiest speakers out there, so that way they sound okay on crappy speakers, and then it's all better from there on out. So these are the cheapo Logitechs you can get nowadays that run completely off of USB. And of course, keeping the marketing gimmick alive, digital. Because they have a little DAC and they decode stuff and things like that. So what I want to do with these is the mini plug died on those Logitechs that I've been using for over by the TV. So I'm going to hook these things up, and I'm going to get them plugged in, and these will be the new non-souped up speakers to edit together these various videos with. So these run directly off of the USB, so hopefully the mini plug issues won't be as much of an issue with these as they were with their predecessors. There's the old Logitechs, there's an Amazon version of these nowadays, but the big thing with these is they still run off a mini, and unfortunately, when the mini plug on this thing, I think it's shorted or something, some weird cross between a short and open and an intermittency, but when the mini died on these, it took down the mini jack of the television with it, so the TV's now one step closer to being useless. So we need some analog speakers over here, because the nice speakers that I do have usually have a bit of volume leveling associated with them, which makes them useless for editing together sound of any sort. So yeah, nice speakers and whatnot, but I want some crappy speakers to get everything sounding okay on, and then it'll just sound even better on any better speakers that anybody has. And these are no longer the crappiest speakers you can get out there nowadays. These things are. So let's hook them up. For once, I have tried a little too hard to be cheap about this matter. Not only do these things not have a lot of volume, they don't sound good, but they don't have enough cord length to make it all the way across the TV without stretching the heck out of the cord between the left and the right speakers. Now, there's been a lot of problems that I've had with these over the years with pulled cables causing a lot of these intermittencies that cause things to stop working. So, no, this is not going to work. I need some other analog setup, probably involving a LaPi amp or something like that, or a DAC box or something along those lines, in order to have some kind of speakers that are pretty quiet, or should I say not affected by volume leveling, or I could just quit being lazy and turn off the volume leveling on the main speakers whenever I go to make something. I mean, these could kind of sort of double as studio monitors, even though they're bookshelf speakers. Oh well, back to the drawing board. Well, the old Yeti is now micro USB powered by one of the straight-through adapters, because these 90-degree things actually did not fit with the shock mount. Hey, wait a minute. Something looks different. Where'd the shelves go? Well, folks, what's old is new again with the setup here. So things were getting a little bit messy behind the desk, so I figured, move the shelves out of the way in order to clean behind them and maybe swap out the subwoofer or something like that. Well, I figured that with how cheap those Walmart shelves were, I figured they would probably break the minute I tried to move them with all the stuff on them. I was right! Well, $25 shelves, you get what you pay for, so I reverted back to the old television stand with the old setup for the AV receiver and some of the consoles. So we'll figure something out a little later on. Over in the project area, however, so some stuff was too small, but this is one of the exceptions where something was too big. I picked this up figuring, we can fit everything on shelves like this. Should have busted out the measuring tape beforehand and got the size down pat, because this is actually way too big. But these are plano shelves. They're kind of the sort of thing you'd have in your garage or something. They're really well built, despite being plastic and stuff. So you've got some PVC piping and some plastic shelves and stuff. And I figured this would be perfect for the project area and get rid of those flimsy little Sterilites that were falling over. So I'm using the old drawers as bins for now until I get something that's more appropriately sized, and kept 2 of them for the small tools and stuff like that. But this should be good for the project area, and I already felt bottomed the whole thing so I could just slide it out of the way if I have to do some cleaning and stuff like that. Geek House 5S. Sustaining is part of the equation, and that means easy cleanup. Now you just gotta make it not look so messy. So here we are with 2 sets of speakers with the exact same problem with them. Something related to the mini plug let go. Maybe I should just say goodbye to mini plugs, quit kidding myself, and start dealing with real DACs and stuff like that. Pretty sad, actually, because there's nothing else wrong with these things. Just a little bit of good old-fashioned planned obsolescence. So whether it's Walmart brand with the black web stuff or Logitech, and I'm sure the Amazon lookalikes on Amazon are probably similar, it's just sad that, these speakers are basically appliances where something breaks and you have to throw them out. So, and even in the case of our little drone cone right there, because this is the real speaker, but, oh man, seriously, it's almost like the minute you start giving a darn about stuff, you should mess around with real sound equipment and start fooling around with Lapai amps and speaker amplifiers. So, well, we got these. We'll save those for later, because that's the Klipsch 4.1s that those are going to go to. Actually, no. Let's just get one and try them out. There we go. See, we got a mini to 2 little screw terminals to allow for regular speaker wire. And here's a bunch of extra speakers that I have sitting around. And can you see what the problem is here? These are perfectly good 2-way speakers that would probably they would sound better than most of the computer speakers that we could pick up. The only reason that I'm not using them, well, mostly 2-way, the Logitechs have phase plugs, but most of the reason why I'm not using these things is because I'm not using the set that they came with. There we go. See, it plugged right in. Nice. Had to do it with 2 hands, but there you go. See, the set plugged right in there. It just goes right in, it clicks into place. Because these old Klipsch Pro Media 4.1 SATs were designed with little proprietary mini plug things that went to the subwoofer. Well, what we do is let's plug one of these things in, and then we just take 2 speaker wires and take a little eyeglass screwdriver to screw everything in. That is a special, that's just regular bits. So just loosen everything up, insert the wires, and tighten it all back up again. It's not going to be as convenient as with the 5.1 SATs and the Logitechs and stuff like that actually have spring terminals. So, but it's better than just not using the speakers. So we got these also on the old Logitech SAT, and then of course we got the Onkyo's. I have the Onkyo's from the original home theater in a box that I barely ever use, with spring terminals in the backs of those too. And you see what I'm getting at here? This is basically the introduction of replaceable parts, thanks to all of these little DACs and amps and stuff that are out there nowadays. I mean, I've got basically a miniature PA speaker not being used exclusively because I'm not using the Klipsch 4.1 subwoofer that it came with. But for some basic mid-range, like what these would do, just get some speaker wire and something to serve as a DAC, an amp, or both, even if it's made for headphones or something, and put these things back into use. use the darn things until they quit. Try to foam rot something, I don't know. I mean, both of these speakers are at least 10 years old, and they'd be perfectly fine if I put them back into service. They're not going to sound as good. None of these are going to sound as good as the stuff in my main system. But for little things on the side, why keep spending $20 to $30 a pop for these when something ultimately goes wrong with the wiring and everything's hardwired, so you either tear them apart, solder them all over the place, or you just get rid of them, when you could just get amps, DACs, and use these things that you have left over from previous speaker systems in order to get better sound, and in some cases two-way sound, versus those things. It's really something I should have thought of earlier, if only I'd known that these products were even out there, like the LaPi amps and stuff. $20, boom, some basic wattage that lets you use old speakers with speaker wire and have it all be standardized. So if something breaks, then you just rewire it with screw terminals, maybe an eyeglass screwdriver in the case of these things with the adapter, and you get better sound than most of the stuff you could get off the shelf in the store. There, covers are back on. They certainly look better with the covers on, but yeah, that was my silly Thanksgiving. Now let's get back to whatever the heck I want to do around here. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.